On the day of the fight, my boyfriend forgot to hang up the phone. I heard Ryan's teasing tone, so high maintenance? Why bother trying to placate her? Ryan is well known for being cold-hearted and callous, and he especially hates me. He has instigated trouble between us behind my back countless times. I was so angry that I got dead drunk and went to confront Ryan. What on earth did I do to offend you? You're trying to break us up. The man pulled me into his arms and laughed softly. Why are you crying? Break up with him. I'll comfort you from now on. After dating for half a year, Eric's ex-girlfriend, Lisa, came back to the country. When we were on the phone at night, Eric kept zoning out. Let's hang up. I have to get up early tomorrow. He yawned within just 5 minutes. Listening to his absent-minded tone, I felt a knot in my chest. Eric, I remember you don't have classes tomorrow morning. There was a moment of silence on the other end, and then Eric's impatient voice came through. A friend is back in the country, and there's a get-together. I have to go in a bit. Lisa? My knuckles holding the phone turned white from the force, and my voice trembled. It was just a simple question, but Eric seemed as if he'd been slandered. What do you mean? Don't you trust me? Can you stop being so unreasonable all the time? It was so obvious that he was trying to hide something. My eyes stung badly, and I said seriously, Eric, if you dare to go see her, we're breaking up. Eric seemed either enraged by my words or as if it was exactly what he wanted. Without any attempt to stay, he said, Fine, break up then. There was a noisy crashing sound on the receiver. He probably threw the phone on the table. In the heat of the moment, he forgot to hang up. I heard Eric's roommate's voice. Why are you arguing with your girlfriend again? Eric said irritably, who knows what's wrong with her? I'm just going to have a meal with my ex-girlfriend, and she's making a big deal out of it. It's been years since I broke up with Lisa. What could possibly happen? Well, your girlfriend cares about you. You should explain it to her properly. The roommate was still trying to reconcile us, but was interrupted by a cold and teasing voice. So high maintenance? Why bother trying to placate her? Women can't be spoiled. You should just ignore her for a while and let her learn her lesson. I recognized it. It was Ryan, Eric's best friend. Ryan is a well-known cold and aloof figure at school, always wearing a nonchalant expression towards everyone. But he especially hates me and has instigated Eric to break up with me behind my back countless times. It was also him who told me about Eric's lingering feelings for his ex-girlfriend. At that time, I waited at the cinema until it closed, but Eric never showed up. It started pouring outside. I stood alone on the steps, repeatedly calling Eric, but the line was always busy. Just when I had no other choice and was about to hold my bag over my head and run into the rain, Ryan's flashy red supercar pulled up in front of me. I'm going back to school. Wanna get in? Before I could say thank you, I heard him say, Eric isn't coming. He went to the airport to pick up Lisa. Oh, you probably don't know who Lisa is. She's Eric's ex-girlfriend, the one he can't get over. My thoughts returned to the present, and I thought about Ryan's instigation on the phone just now. My already suppressed emotions reached their peak at this moment. Why were they all bullying me one after another? A wave of anger built up in my chest, almost exploding. Too furious to bear it, I randomly threw on a jacket, went downstairs to hail a cab, and headed straight for the bar they usually hung out at. The bar music blasted deafeningly, stirring my already agitated mood into an even fiercer turbulence. I desperately needed some cold liquid to soothe the fire inside me. Seating myself at the bar, I ordered a random bottle of alcohol and gulped it down. This was actually my first time drinking. The spicy sting made my eyes red and watery. Is Eric here today? In which room? He probably just arrived. Coughing, I pulled out my phone, pointed at Eric's photo, and asked the bartender. The bartender hesitated, looking conflicted. Sorry, I can't reveal customer information, he said. So he is here, right? I nodded, grabbed my bottle, and headed straight for the second floor. Maybe it was because I felt too wronged, or maybe the alcohol was kicking in. I became incredibly bold, knocking on doors one by one to search. By the 9th room, I bumped into Ryan in the hallway. He leaned against the wall, a faint ember glowing between his fingers. His coat hung loosely over his arm, his shirt slightly unbuttoned, giving off a lazy, dignified air. Wispy smoke drifted, blurring his sharp, aloof profile. As drunkenness washed over me, it pried open the valve of my emotions. Staggering slightly, I dashed over and yanked his collar. Tears streamed down uncontrollably. Between sobs, I accused him, "How did I ever offend you? Why do you have to ruin my relationship?" Ryan froze for a few seconds, then stubbed out his cigarette and swiftly steadied me. Cradling my waist with one hand, he pressed me against his chest, frowning. "Mary? I heard it all. You persuaded Eric not to come and coax me. Don't play innocent here." I wiped my tears and glared up at him. As Ryan grasped the whole situation, he raised an eyebrow slightly, no trace of guilt in his eyes. He glanced down at the bottle I was holding and couldn't help but chuckle softly. 56 proof, no wonder you're so drunk. Seeing his composure only made me angrier. "I'm not drunk. I came to settle scores with you." "All right, you're not drunk, I'm the drunk one." Ryan gently brushed the tears from the corner of my eye, his tone impossibly tender. The cool touch of his fingertips against my skin felt like a feather's light caress, sending subtle shivers through me. I instinctively flinched. "Right. Compensate for my boyfriend." Ryan laughed softly, his voice seductively smooth. He softened his pitch as if coaxing. "What if I compensate myself to you? Break up with him. From now on, I'll be the one coaxing you." My alcohol-dulled mind spun slowly, like an old, creaking gear. After a while, I hadn't fully processed what Ryan meant when he took me by the shoulders and turned me around. The door to a nearby private room opened, and I saw Eric Princess carrying Lisa as they came out. Lisa's cheeks were flushed red, and she hooked an arm around Eric's neck, leaning in to kiss him. Although Eric had a cold expression on his face as if he was scolding something, he didn't avoid it. The two kissed more and more deeply and didn't separate the whole way. Perhaps because they were too engrossed, Eric completely didn't notice my presence. I personally saw them enter the private lounge on the top floor. What would happen next was obvious. My nose tingled, and the tears I had been holding back fell. My throat felt as if it were stuffed with a heavy, wet cotton ball, making it hard for me to breathe. The after effects of the strong liquor surged up like a tide. I cried harder. The heat ignited by the alcohol pressed straight upward. I was so suffocated that I randomly grabbed the zipper of my coat and pulled it down to take off my clothes. Ryan's eyelid twitched. He raised his hand wanting to stop me, but I slapped it away. He had no choice but to shake out his coat to wrap me in it, with a tone that carried a hint of warning. "Mary, stop moving. Drunks are the most rebellious, let alone one with emotions." I struggled desperately to break free from Ryan's embrace. "Why should I listen to you? Get away. You guys are all assholes." Ryan clenched his jaw, and the veins on his neck slightly bulged. "Mary, don't move. I just want you to let go of me. I really don't get it. I'm just taking off my coat, why won't he let me?" My shouting drew the attention of many people around. Unable to bear it any longer, Ryan scooped me up by the waist, then took out a room key to swipe into the adjacent room. He held my flailing hands and forced me onto his lap. "Why cry over such a jerk?" Ryan freed one hand to pat my back, comforting me. His tone was annoyed, but his actions revealed tenderness. But this statement was said coldly and fiercely by Ryan, coupled with his gloomy expression. I was so scared that I hiccuped from crying and didn't dare move anymore. A bit of reason finally returned to me. I looked at him somewhat dazedly and whispered, "Aren't you his good brother? Who talks about their good brother that way?" And just now I was facing away from the private room. If it weren't for Ryan making me turn around, I wouldn't have discovered Eric's cheating. Ryan scoffed momentarily, then bent down to pinch my cheek. "Who the hell is he to say I'm his good brother?" Ryan tore off the shirt that was soaked by my tears and said slowly, "Mary, have you thought about my suggestion? Break up. I'll comfort you." His firm abs tightened with the movement, with faint veins bulging in his lower abdomen, extending into his waistband. For some reason, my face felt warm. My thoughts were muddled, and I said sluggishly, how will you comfort me? Restlessness stirred under the influence of alcohol. Dizzily, I rubbed my flushed cheek against his abs. They were cool and very comfortable. I whimpered contentedly and pressed closer. The next moment, Ryan let out a stifled groan, stood up, grabbed my waist and lifted me to keep me from touching him any further. Instinctively, I wrapped my arms around his neck and tangled my legs tightly around his slender waist. "Mary, behave yourself," he said. Ryan's Adam's apple bobbed, his eyes darkened, as if exerting tremendous self-control. A bold idea flashed through my mind. I wanted to sleep with Ryan. He has such a great physique and handsome looks, no matter how I look at it, I wouldn't lose out. After all, he talks trash about me all day long. Today, I'll work him hard to vent my frustration and incidentally annoy Eric the jerk to death. Isn't Ryan supposedly aloof and indifferent to desires? I want to make him break his vow. So I mustered all my courage, cupped his face, and kissed him fiercely. "Ryan, I want to sleep with you," I declared. But I pressed too hard, and my lips bumped against his teeth. I hissed and instinctively tried to pull back, but Ryan held me by the waist. His heated kiss came next, waves of passion surging within. Guided by Ryan, I lifted my neck to receive it. Until, kissed breathless and weak all over, Ryan was panting softly by my ear. His eyes twinkling with laughter, his voice thick with desire, he murmured, "Want to sleep with me?" "Yes," I replied. My eyes misting over, I nodded hard. His words hanging in the air, Ryan tossed me onto the bed and pressed down upon me. He kissed my lips again, sucking and nibbling. His fingers brushed my flushed tear duct as he chuckled softly. "What if we always console you like this from now on? All right?" The next day, I was awakened by Eric's astonished exclamation. The bedroom and living room of the suite are separate, so Eric didn't know I was inside. Ryan was holding the door open only a crack, with no intention of inviting Eric in. "Holy shit, the impossible has happened, Ryan, you're actually in love?" Eric's shock was palpable. Ryan is good-looking, comes from a well-off family, and there isn't any type of girl on or off campus who hasn't chased after him. Yet he always kept a cool demeanor, showing no interest in anyone. "Shut up, keep it down," Ryan frowned. Following Eric's gaze downward, he only then discovered scratches all over his body. "She looks quite petite, but she's surprisingly strong," he mused. As if recalling something, Ryan snorted with a chuckle, a faint smile unconsciously lifting the corner of his mouth. Eric looked even more flabbergasted. "Am I seeing this right? Is this guy secretly enjoying himself?" He was beginning to suspect that Ryan had been possessed. "Ryan, who's your girlfriend?" Eric asked, intensely curious about who could enthrall Ryan like this. "Still chasing," Ryan replied. "What do you want from me so early in the morning? Spit it out if you have something to say." Ryan looked at Eric and put away his smile, speaking impatiently. "Brother Ryan, can I borrow your car? My car is almost out of gas and can't go far. Isn't the school only 4 or 5 kilometers away from here?" "Well, I'm taking Lisa home. Her home is quite far from here." "No way." Before Eric could say another word, Ryan slammed the door shut. Eric didn't have time to react, and the door almost hit him in the face. He touched his cheek in shock, looking a bit dazed. Although Ryan had always been cold-tempered, he would always respond when Eric asked for help. Especially when it came to Eric and Lisa's relationship, Ryan had even gone out of his way to help. "What's going on today? It seems he doesn't even want to say an extra word to me." When Ryan came in, I was still looking for clothes. He was bare-chested, only wearing a pair of gray drawstring sweatpants. The visual impact of his broad-shouldered figure was too strong. For the first time, I clearly understood what it meant to look thin in clothes and have muscles when undressed. There were ambiguous red marks on Ryan's lean waist, and his abs were well defined. The contours of his leg muscles were faintly visible as he walked. The alcohol had worn off. Remembering last night's scene, I couldn't help being flustered. "Let me help you." After witnessing my umpteenth failure, he let out a muffled laugh, walked behind me, and fastened it for me. My face turned even redder. I quickly put on my short-sleeved shirt and didn't dare to look at him. "We were both drunk last night. Let's just pretend it never happened. After all, we're adults. We don't need to take it too seriously. If there's nothing else, I'll leave now. I forced myself to stay calm and blurted out these words in one breath. After all, I couldn't just say that I picked on him because I disliked him. Maybe it was because it was my first time getting drunk and I wasn't used to it. My memory of last night was a bit fuzzy. I only remembered that I should have pounced on Ryan. I thought he wouldn't want to be entangled by his brother's ex-girlfriend. By saying this, I was giving him an out. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but praise my own wisdom and thoughtfulness. But for some reason, the more I said, the darker Ryan's face got. You want to run away after sleeping with me? I didn't know you were so bold. Ryan sneered, picked me up, and threw me back on the bed, then leaned over me. I widened my eyes in surprise and said guiltily, then, "What do you suggest? Mary, give me a chance. Can I chase you?" My mind went blank. I felt like my CPU was overheating. Don't you hate me? Ryan tugged at the corner of his mouth, as if he was so angry that he laughed. I'm crazy about you. Do you think I hate you? If it weren't for getting close to you, I wouldn't have bothered with that jerk. I stared at him in shock and said, "You've been bad-mouthing Eric in front of me and giving him bad advice to break up our relationship. What is this if it's not hatred?" Ryan rubbed my hair with a complex expression. Is there a chance I'm poaching? If he doesn't leave, how can I take his place? Be your mistress? Slowly, I realized Ryan had helped me many times before. If it weren't for his reminder, I wouldn't have caught on to Eric's timing so quickly. But whenever he showed up to help, he always had a dark expression and an annoying tone. That made me think he was reluctant, doing it just out of guilt. Plus, since he and Eric seemed so close, I jumped to the conclusion he disliked me. So, he was actually scheming all along? He seemed to grasp my train of thought. Ryan said coldly, "Watching you get fooled by that jerk every day? Yeah, right, I'd be feeling great. But..." I'd barely gotten the word out when Ryan gripped my waist. But? He smirked menacingly, tightening his hold to threaten me. Mary, aren't you refusing to take responsibility for me? Ryan pointed at the terrible marks on himself, his eyes deep and intense. Last night, you were the one who started. I felt myself burning up all over, like a steaming kettle. Stop talking, I said, flushing bright red as I pushed myself up and tried to cover his mouth. Who knew Ryan would open his lips and suck my fingertip in? I suspected he was seducing me, but I had no proof. The wet heat of his mouth washed over me. My mind went blank, my breath grew ragged. It was like a faint electric shock surging through me instantly. Ryan lifted the corner of his lips, like a triumphant hunter. So, are you going to take responsibility for me? I stammered, yes, our respons. Responsibility. He kissed my forehead contentedly and smiled. Well, happy first day of dating, Mary. On the way back, I typed out a text to Eric to break up. Then I quickly blocked and deleted him without waiting for a reply. Eric and I hadn't been together long, so the feelings weren't deep enough to be hard to detach from. Besides, he'd been growing more indifferent toward me lately, and I saw it coming. Even if I hadn't caught Eric cheating firsthand, I'd already planned to end things. So, seeing it happen last night, most of my pain was from struggling to accept the betrayal itself. After crying, I completely let go. Jerks like that aren't worth another ounce of my energy. I just wasn't used to being around Ryan yet. Ryan dropped me off at the dorm. I fumbled nervously with the seatbelt. I'll head up now, I said. Ryan rested one hand on the steering wheel and turned to look at me. That's it? I blinked slowly and said weakly, otherwise. He tapped his cheek. After hesitating for a long time, I leaned in and gave a quick peck, my face gradually flushing again. I meant to say there was something on your cheek. Ryan grabbed a tissue, leaned over, and wiped it off for me with a lazy smile. This made my neck feel hot all over. Utterly embarrassed, I pulled open the car door and dashed upstairs. Back in the dorm, my heart was still racing. Ryan called, his voice tinged with laughter. Why did you run so fast? I wanted to say we haven't added each other on social media yet. This number is my social media ID, remember to accept my friend request. Okay, got it, I replied. Standing by the windowsill, I looked down and accidentally met Ryan's gaze. That feeling was subtle. My heart raced unexpectedly. His gaze deepened, and his tone turned serious. Also, I'll say it again. I like you. I really like you. So we'll take it slow. I'll give you time to accept me. I'm just claiming the title of boyfriend first. Starting today, I'll pursue you. Until you're ready to agree. After hanging up, I got a friend notification. Note, Mary's boyfriend. Eric had waited for me downstairs at the dorm many times, but I always ignored his voice and went straight up. Besides, Eric and I weren't in the same major. I went straight to the library after every class, so he couldn't find me any other time. After I blocked his fifth number, Eric finally quieted down. I thought he was too ashamed to come find me, but Eric never gave up. A month later, the club organized a camping trip. Eric was there too. What was even funnier? He brought Lisa along. Eric sat beside me as soon as he got in the car. Mary, enough is enough. Keep this up, and I won't bother trying to cheer you up anymore. I can explain what happened last time, it was all a misunderstanding. I looked at him like he was insane. I've already made it clear, we're broken up. Who's messing with you? I saw it clearly when you cheated, there's nothing to discuss. Eric's expression turned ugly. That day I was drunk, and she kissed me before I could dodge it. And don't overthink it, Lisa grew up abroad, so she's pretty open. Kissing between friends is common overseas. She's new here and unfamiliar with the place. Our families have been close for generations, so I just looked out for her a bit. Her parents kept begging me, and with elders saying something, I couldn't refuse. I turned and gave him a huge eye roll, completely unwilling to talk to him. Eric, can I sit with you? I'm not familiar with the other classmates. Lisa tugged at Eric's sleeve, her tone plaintive. Though I have no idea what she's being so pitiful about. But the way she looked on the verge of tears made it seem like she'd suffered a great injustice. I glanced at her and mimicked her coquettish tone. I am not familiar with the other classmates. If you're not familiar, then what are you doing here? Don't you know this is a club gathering? I'm not against bringing a +1 to a team-building event, I just simply hate those home wreckers who know they're the other woman. Lisa was stunned, her expression rigid. She never expected me to be so direct. I have no friends in the country, so I begged Eric to take me out with him. Eric immediately jumped in and scolded, Mary, can you stop being so jealous? Lisa and I are just friends. Lisa and I are just friends. Mary, will you ever stop? Eric's tone was irritated. I was extremely speechless and couldn't help waving my hand. Just get out of here. You're acting crazy. The suppressed laughter around couldn't be held back any longer. Eric's face was darker than the bottom of a pot. He grabbed Lisa and walked to the last row. During the barbecue at night, Eric kept trying to get close to me on purpose, but was always blocked by the club friends. I joined the club earlier and had always gotten along well with everyone. Eric joined later because he was chasing me and wanted to create more chances to meet me. Moreover, they all looked down on Eric's cheating behavior. So they all openly and secretly protected me. Lisa was completely ignored, and the fake smile on her face couldn't be maintained. Seeing her sad, Eric grilled skewers for her alone and didn't have time to talk to me anymore. This suited me just fine. As the night deepened, the club president suggested that we sit in a circle and play games while eating. Hearing this, Eric lifted his foot and wanted to walk towards me, but was grabbed by Lisa. A friend nudged my elbow and whispered to me, Mary, if you're uncomfortable, I'll go out for a walk with you. Let's not play this game. I gave her a grateful smile. It's okay. If anyone should leave, it's them. I'm not going. Don't worry. I don't care about it at all. As I was speaking, the cards were in front of me. I picked one. The content of the truth or dare was to kiss any person present through a playing card for 10 seconds. Eric's gaze immediately became purposeful. Lisa beside him bit her lip and stared at Eric intently. Hey, If Mary doesn't want to do it, she can just drink 3 glasses as a forfeit. Yeah. Everyone can understand. Mary just got her heart broken by a man. How can she be in the mood to play these games? The club president immediately spoke up first. No. It wasn't said before we started that we could avoid the truth or dare by drinking. Eric put down the wine bottle heavily. Okay. I smiled and stood up. Anyway, the card didn't say it had to be a boy. I can kiss a girl too, right? I was just trying to find a loophole in the rules. Screech, a loud roar exploded. A pure black motorcycle left a beautiful arc-shaped tire track, and its front wheel barely stopped behind Eric. The distance was only a few centimeters. If it had been just a little closer, Eric would have been run over. Who is it? Driving like this? Eric was so scared that he suddenly stood up and staggered a few steps. Ryan propped one long leg on the ground, took off his helmet with one hand and tucked it under his arm, and smiled casually. Sorry, I'm late. He directly ignored Eric and nodded to the club president. It's okay. Just in time to introduce you to everyone. This is Ryan. The club president patted his shoulder. We really have to thank Ryan for this camping trip. This entire tourist area belongs to the Smith family. When he heard we were coming, he insisted on giving us a free pass. And he even came up here in person to tell the manager to treat us well. Everyone immediately started cheering. The boss is so generous. Thank you, Boss Smith. We're just playing a game. Join us. Eric stood there awkwardly, unable to get a word in. Making his way through the crowd, Ryan naturally walked over to me, with a smile on his lips. Mary, can I sit here? Without waiting for me to answer, he pulled over a Kermit chair and sat down. His tone was lazy yet mischievous. I'm sure Mary wouldn't mind, right? I gave him a reproachful look. No, I don't mind. After a brief introduction of the game progress, the game continued. Eric reminded me, Mary, it's your turn to choose. He seemed quite confident of victory. Suddenly, I changed my mind and turned to Ryan. Can I kiss you? Ryan was lazily reclined on the chair. When he heard my words, he slowly sat up straight, leaned forward, slightly parted his legs, and rested his elbows on his knees. His long and narrow eyes stared straight at me. Sure. I was flustered by his intense gaze and curled my fingers before looking away to pick up the card. When I held up the poker card, Ryan slightly raised his eyebrows and let out a soft, disappointed click of his tongue. So it's a kiss through the card. He hooked the corner of his mouth, looking utterly carefree. The originally quiet crowd immediately erupted into gossipy laughter. Embarrassed by his antics, I pretended to be angry and said, Stop being so glib. If you don't want to, then don't kiss. Kiss. How could I not want to? Ryan coaxed me in a low voice, held my wrist, and leaned in to kiss me. The distance between us suddenly closed. My eyelashes fluttered, and my heart involuntarily started beating faster. Behind the crowd, Ryan's fingers rubbed against my wrist bone. A tingling, itchy sensation spread through me. I felt tiny goosebumps rising all over my body. Ryan has slightly asymmetrical peach blossom eyes with very thin eyelids. When he isn't smiling, he looks cold and sharp, exuding a strong sense of intimidation. But now, with a faint smile playing on his lips, even the black tear mole under his eye seems to tilt upward. It was like a piece of glass filled with stars, utterly mesmerizing. Time's up. The alarm on my phone rang. Ryan pulled away the playing card, and I almost leaned in to kiss him out of habit, distracted. I flinched back in a panic, my face flushing red. Ryan, of course, took half a beat too long to let go of me, his fingers lightly brushing the back of my hand. He steadied my wobbling chair, his Adam's apple bobbing slightly. Careful, he said. Thank you, I stammered. You're welcome, Ryan replied, lifting his gaze to meet mine, his voice deep and laced with a lazy chuckle. Those 3 simple words made my ears burn. For the rest of the game, my mind was filled with Ryan's impossibly beautiful eyes, and I missed the card coming back to me several times. I also completely failed to notice Eric's dark stare. My friend snapped his fingers in front of my face. What are you thinking about? My heart pounded wildly, and I instinctively glanced at Ryan. His profile was sharply defined, the collar of his black windbreaker zipped all the way up, his expression cool. He held a soda can loosely in one hand, his index finger crooked around the pull tab, the knuckles prominent and long. As if sensing my gaze, Ryan looked over too. Guiltily, I lowered my head, the heat on my face only intensifying. Nothing, I muttered to myself. Good looks are so distracting. I shook myself back to focus. Just then, it was Eric's turn. The challenge he drew was, Hold Your Breath Underwater Challenge. Since it was a camping trip, the game included lots of outdoor activities. There was a lake right near the campsite. Eric read the card and blurted out, I really can't do this, I'm terrified of water. Then, as if realizing something, he abruptly fell silent. Lisa, thinking he was just embarrassed, immediately chimed in, Eric can't even swim. He's scared of water. I froze and stared at Eric. You can't swim? His face paled, and he only spoke after a few silent movements of his lips. No. The truth was piecing itself together in my mind. I clenched my fists, my breath tightening. Eric, so it wasn't you who saved me back then. Eric and I met because I fell into the water. It was final exam week, and I'd been cramming all night for a week straight, exhausted. That night, after the dorm lights went out, I went down and sat on the steps to memorize vocabulary, facing a pond. Someone came speeding by on a bike behind me. Hearing the noise, I jumped up too quickly, my vision went black, and I stumbled into the water. I actually know how to swim, and the water wasn't deep, but I was having a low blood sugar episode. I couldn't muster any strength and passed out. In a hazy state of consciousness, a boy carried me onto the shore. When I opened my eyes, only Eric was by my side. I asked him if it was him who saved me. Eric smiled at that time, which was like a silent admission. It was also because of this incident that I had a crush on him. When Eric confessed his love to me, I actually wanted to reject him. After getting along, I had a good impression of him, but it wasn't to the extent that I wanted to be in a relationship. It was Eric who brought up the matter of saving me and asked if he could have a probation period to give it a try. I softened my heart and agreed because of that. I have to say, he was really good at acting. When he was chasing me, he was extremely considerate, enthusiastic, and sincere. But unexpectedly, after we got together, he gradually showed his true nature. A typical case of not cherishing what he had once he got it. Eric was silent for a moment and stared at me gloomily. He raised his voice and said recklessly, I've never admitted it. It's just your own misunderstanding. And, stop acting all high and mighty here and accusing me. You've been having an affair with Ryan for a long time, right? That's why you're looking for an excuse to dump me. Mary, aren't you disgusting? You're a slut trying to act like a saint. Before he could say more, Ryan grabbed him by the collar and threw him hard to the ground. Looking for death? I'll grant you that. Ryan looked down at him from above and sneered. I wondered why you suddenly got so close to me and then became so heartless recently. So you've got a crush on my girlfriend. I knew there was something going on between you two. Ha, I guessed right. Ryan, you're just a rich prick. If you didn't have the Smith name, you'd be nothing. Eric didn't even have time to scream before Ryan punched him in the face. Then the punches rained down on him. Ryan's eyes were cold and fierce, and his movements were swift and brutal, with the wind whistling as his fists moved. Eric didn't even have the strength to resist, and his shouts turned into wails. He curled up in pain, looking extremely miserable. Ryan's aura was so intimidating that his already cold and sharp features were even more oppressive at the moment. No one dared to step forward to stop him. Lisa kept screaming and covered her face. I was also shocked by his actions. When I came to my senses, I said urgently, Ryan. He suddenly stopped and slowly stood up. I quickly grabbed his arm. Eric trembled involuntarily, his face bruised and purple, and the corner of his mouth bloody. Seeing this, Ryan curled his lips contemptuously and sneered, That's right. I've got plenty of money. So it doesn't matter if I beat you to a pulp. Wanna try? See if I can afford to compensate. Eric quickly protected his head. Brother Ryan, I was wrong. I'm really wrong. I was being a jerk. I deserve to be beaten. Ryan kicked him with his foot. His tone was calm but sent a chill down one's spine. Apologize to Mary. Eric gritted his teeth. Mary, I'm sorry. Inside the tent, I held Ryan's hand and applied medicine to his wounds. His knuckles were scraped and bleeding slightly from excessive force. The atmosphere was heavy. Ryan looked down at me and asked softly, "Did I scare you just now?" I paused for a moment, continuing to press the cotton swab. No. I just don't want you to fight, it might invite gossip. I know you can handle it, but it's still not ideal. Besides, I'm not the type to take insults lying down. If you hadn't lashed out, I would have yelled back twice as hard myself, making sure he wouldn't have it easy. Ryan suddenly laughed. So, you were worried about me? I glared at him. What are you thinking? Ryan flipped his hand over, taking the chance to grip mine, and drawled lazily, "Thinking about my own girlfriend, is that illegal?" His tone was straightforwardly flirtatious, like teasing a cat. My face flushed as I pulled my hand back, pretending not to understand. Stop moving around, okay? I haven't finished applying the stuff. Ryan squeezed the soft flesh of my palm, then let go slowly. Yes, ma'am, my lady. After finishing with the medicine, Ryan mentioned casually, "You and Eric got together because you thought he saved you?" Not entirely, but that was part of it. I thought he was a good person at first. I tightened the iodine bottle cap and looked up at him. Why ask about this all of a sudden? Ryan's eyes darkened, his lips twisting into a self-mocking smirk. I regret it. Regret what? Regretting that I didn't act like a selfish scoundrel. Ryan. I vaguely sensed what he was about to say, my voice trembling uncontrollably. Ryan pulled me into his arms, his chin pressing into the top of my head, with a strength like he wanted to mold me into his bones. It was me who saved you. After giving you first aid, I asked a security guard to watch over you, then ran to find the campus doctor. When I got back, you were gone. The guard said you woke up and were helped back to your dorm by someone, so I couldn't leave any clues to find you. Right around when I left, Eric happened to pass by and take a liking to your looks. Later, when I met you again, you were already his girlfriend. I never told you this story because I didn't want to manipulate you with a favor or affect your judgment. I wanted to win you over on my own merits, not for any other reason. But looking back now, I shouldn't have played the noble gentleman. Tears welled up in my eyes, my heart melting completely. Ryan bent down to kiss me, tender and lingering. Mary, I've liked you for a long time now. Longer than you might think. I gasped slightly, feeling like crying again. So why do you like me? Ryan chuckled, pinched my chin to stop me from pulling away, and kissed me once more. Be my girlfriend. I'll tell you the story slowly. Okay? During my freshman year, in an elective class, Mary's roommate went out on a date and asked Mary to cover for her attendance. But luck ran out, the roommate got called on to answer a question. Mary had to stand up and stammer through her response. Her skin was very fair, flushed from nerves. The summer sunlight streamed in, making Mary look as rosy as a strawberry muffin. She clearly knew nothing but was making an earnest effort to bluff. After Mary finished speaking, everyone laughed. Yet she still tried to act composed, but her lively eyes betrayed her nervousness. She was both adorable and pitiful. Ryan, who had been bored out of his mind, suddenly found the class quite interesting. Perhaps it was fate. After class, Ryan went to line up at the cafeteria. Mary happened to be in front of him. Ryan heard her pouring her heart out over the phone dramatically. Woo, Cece, I'm so embarrassed today. I really feel like I'm shattered into crumbs like teddy bear cookies, so fine they can't even be swept up. Yeah, I'm so upset I've lost my appetite. I don't want to eat anything. But the next second, Mary hung up the phone. Can't talk now, it's my turn. Auntie, yes, this, and this. Hee, and one of those braised pork knuckles too. Thank you, Auntie. Auntie, could you fill my plate a bit more? Please, pretty please. Ryan watched the little girl acting cute, and the corners of his mouth lifted unconsciously. Later, perhaps it was truly fate ordained by heaven, destiny arranged for them to meet again. In the dim light of evening, his heart recognized Mary before he did. At that moment, Ryan didn't hesitate to jump into the water. He was absolutely certain he was head over heels. At the end of the month, after class, Lisa suddenly stopped me. She looked terrible, and her eyes were full of hostility. "Eric went to see you, didn't he? Why has he completely ignored me ever since he found out you were with another man? Are you happy now? School is annoying enough. Are you asking for trouble, jealous rival?" I gave an insincere smile and then raised my thick textbook as if to slap her. "Ah! What are you doing?" Lisa screamed, stepping back. I moved closer without a word, this time swinging my backpack. This time, Lisa ran away directly. With people like this, reasoning is useless. You have to fight fire with fire. But I didn't expect Lisa to be bold enough to slander me. Only a few days later, my roommate forwarded me a post. Someone anonymously exposed me on the campus forum, accusing me of cheating during a relationship, being financially supported by a rich guy. Then, after cheating, I kept tangled up with my ex, ruining his new romance. The attached picture was a blurry photo of me and Ryan holding hands. Quite a few people in the comments were misled. "Ah, isn't this the campus beauty of the economics department, Mary? Ryan's been chasing her intensely lately. I thought it was a fairy tale romance, but it turns out she's a kept woman. OMG, Mary did date Eric before. This timeline proves she really cheated. So disgusting. She looks gorgeous but is trash inside. No need to guess who did it." I was just about to take a screenshot for evidence when the screen suddenly went black, showing the content had been removed. Right after that, Ryan called. "Mary, I've had that article taken down. I'll sue all those who spread rumors in the comments section. I'll send Lisa's information to the legal team later. Don't worry, she won't get away with it. As for those rumors, I've already clarified them. Now, where are you? I'll come to be with you." I felt warm inside, as if wrapped in a layer of honey. "You've clarified it? How come I haven't seen it?" "It's okay. I'm not that fragile. I'm fine in the dormitory." As I replied, I refreshed the campus forum, but I couldn't find Ryan's clarification. The next second, I received a link share on my phone. I clicked on it, and my pupils trembled slightly. Ryan had issued a statement using the official account of the group. Below were comments from various department official accounts in unison, who's spreading rumors about our future boss's wife. In the evening, Ryan sent me back to the dormitory. From afar, I saw Eric squatting downstairs. Ryan's face darkened. "Mary, move in with me for a while. I'll go back to my place. I know you can protect yourself, but I'm still worried." Ryan had a large flat near the school. Before, he moved back to the dormitory to pursue me, and after he succeeded, he moved out again. I nodded. There had been a lot of rumors recently, and I didn't want to have anything to do with Eric anymore. Who knew what crazy things he would do? When we got to Ryan's place, he arranged everything for me. But when he was about to leave, he suddenly stopped. I looked at him with a smile. "What, not leaving?" Ryan turned around, hugged me, and smiled. "It's late. That's why you should go back earlier." I pretended not to know what he was up to. Ryan looked at me meaningfully and sighed. "Okay, I'm leaving. My wife doesn't care about me, doesn't love me. I don't know who's so pitiful." I couldn't help laughing and took the initiative to stand on tiptoe to kiss him. "Who are you talking about?" Ryan pushed me down on the sofa, kissed my lips, and looked extremely satisfied. "I don't know. Anyway, it's not me."